All right, there's the next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussion continuing our retro pay-per-view review series. It's going to be WCW Halloween Havoc 1995. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Man, let's get into this. Pardon me, I'm just a little under the weather for this one, but the show must go on. October 29th, October 29th, 1995, from Detroit, Michigan. Um, this pay-per-view, to me, they talk too much. They really emphasize the too many backstage interviews, too
Yeah, a little bit.
much gossiping, too much video packages, not enough matches. Because if you look at the time of all these matches, they were really all under 8 minutes, with the exception of the main event and the opening match, and of course the Sting tag team match, which was ridiculous anyway. But yeah, I think they focused too much time on gossiping, especially after the monster truck match. So let's just get into it. Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan did the commentary. Eric Bischoff did come on to do the commentary for this for the truck match, which was actually filmed the day before they did this, which was still ridiculous in its own right. We'll get to that later.
It doesn't make any sense is that they showed a piece of the monster truck match during the opening thing.
Yeah,
And when during the broadcast, they're saying that it's live,
yeah,
but they showed a little bit of the monster truck match during the opening. Anyway,
yeah,
WCW, ladies and gentlemen.
exactly. You got to expect the unexpected here. Before they even went on the opening match, Tony Schiavone announced that Ric Flair
Mm-hmm.
was attacked
It's attacked,
by
yeah.
Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman.
Damn it.
They did not. They didn't know the status of his injuries or if he could compete tonight because he's in a tag match with him and Sting versus Anderson and Pillman. And if anybody knows WCW or wrestling in general with these storylines, you know where we're going with this.
It's funny because we just reviewed Clash of the Champions with Sting and
It's
Flair teaming up, and this is here is years later they're teaming up again.
yeah, only a different outcome. Opening match of the night, I thought was pretty decent. It was for the television title. It was Diamond Dallas Page defending the title against Johnny B. Bad. Quick little backstory on
Mm-hmm.
this: when Johnny B. Bad was supposed to receive his U.S. title shot, um, he failed to show up due to a alleged flat tire.
Satire.
So Brian Pillman had taken the match against Sting.
Mm-hmm.
When
Saturday
Johnny,
night, yeah, WCW
yeah,
Saturday night.
when Johnny B. Bad got there later on that night, he's all dirty and stuff. And then, Paige shows up and Max Muscle's like, man, it's a shame that you had, four flat tires. He said, I didn't say four. I said a
Yeah,
flat tire.
and then he attacks
And then he attacks Paige. So that's what set
DDP.
up this match here.
Because DDP
Um,
was saying how I was the TV champion and
yeah, he should have gotten
I
the
should have
title
gotten the
shot.
title shot. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was actually kind of cool how this started because when Johnny B. Bad's music hit, somebody was coming out looking like him,
Mhm.
but it wasn't
I
him.
knew it wasn't him. Once I saw that
You
he
could
they were
tell,
just
yeah.
showing the back,
Yeah.
I said, oh, I was like, he's gonna sneak up. I was like,
And sure enough, he came out from the crowd and got the upper hand on Page in this match. And anytime Page has Max Muscle at ringside, it's going to be kind of a disadvantage for you. However, this time it wasn't for Johnny B. Bad. And what was even more funny is Kimberly was rating his moves,
oh yeah, she had
putting up the
the
tens.
cards. Yeah. So Diamond Dallas Page is the king of opening pay-per-view matches.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, he's getting better every time he
Hmm.
goes out
Yeah.
there. This match itself was really good. I like this feud between these two guys. I thought at this time that Johnny B. Bad was proving that he could be elevated on the roster. However, WCW thought otherwise. But in my opinion, I think he would have been just fine doing that. Like they elevated
No, he might have.
Pillman.
I mean, if he stuck around, who knows? He didn't stick
He
around. He left.
would he have gotten a title shot for the WCW
Maybe
Championship?
not the main.
Possibly.
I mean, who knows? There's
I
no way.
just don't think he would have held it.
No, I mean, probably not. But I mean,
But could he
I
have
could
gotten
have
in the
seen him
ring
like
with guys like
upper.
Hall and Nash?
Yeah, yeah,
Possibly.
yeah, I could have seen him, and
But he went to WWE, and unfortunately, an injury ruined his career there.
and
So
his wife. But that's
exactly,
another
that's
story.
another story for another day. Um, Naturally, Paige and Max Muscle, he's getting involved, distracting with the referee. Um, at the one point, Max Muscle was able to distract the referee to where Paige could use the tape on Johnny B. Bad, choking him out. Um, it was funny because Karma came back and finally bit Page in the ass because Max Muscle accidentally clotheslines Page
Mhm.
towards the end of this match, and that's how it ends. Johnny B. Bad just pins him,
So,
and that's it. So it took a clothesline from Max Muscle to take Page out. Johnny B. Bad is the new television champion. Paige is walking off disgruntled, and Kimberly's sort of happy there. Good for her. The next match on the card now for this evening, Randy Savage and both him and Lex Luger had to have individual matches.
mhm.
If they won their matches, they got each other later on in the card, which was a little ridiculous. They should have just had the
They
match
should
and
just have
forget
that
all
match.
this other nonsense.
Yeah.
Now, supposedly it was supposed to be Randy Savage versus Kamala in this match. However, it wasn't. So we get a 1989 feud renewed, a rivalry renewed. Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Zodiac.
Yeah. Kamalo had issues with I guess a dispute over pay or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
he was like, I'm out
I
of
think he
here.
was out the door at that point.
Yeah. That's why it
Oh,
was
not missing anything.
Zodiac. Jeez.
I don't know what the hell the man's doing. At this point, he's acting
Dungeon of
like a
Doom.
buffoon.
Dungeon of Doom.
Oh yeah, don't we'll forget later. We'll get the newest member, the Yeti.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. This match was literally 90 seconds. There was no point. Matter of fact, the fan jumps into the ring at this
I
point.
think that's why they cut it short.
Probably Randy Anderson was
Yeah.
trying to whoop his
Mm-hmm.
ass, man.
Mm-hmm.
And Savage and Zodiac got out of the ring
Yeah, off to the side.
because
Yeah.
I think Savage would have killed him
Yeah.
because Savage and
And
his feud.
WCW, man. For some reason, WCW, people love jumping in there.
They think they can make it better, and they probably
Yeah, I
could.
guess. Well,
So it's funny, pretty much this match was just like I said, real short. Savage hits the elbow drop on Zodiac, squashes him, which isn't really helping his character or him at this point. And Randy Savage gets the victory. Now he's got to wait for Lex Luger to win his match before he can find out if he gets him later on in the
yeah.
night. So, and then following that, Mean Gene Oakland interviewed Johnny B. Bad, the new television champion. Congratulations to
The
him.
boyhood dream. The boyhood dream.
Yeah, for the TV title.
Yeah.
And of course, after that, they showed the video package of what happened in August at Clash of Champions when Kurosawa allegedly broke Road Warrior Hawk's arm, which led to the next match, which again was kind of short. But again, all these matches were pretty much short except for three.
Yeah, I guess they had to save the time for the monster truck in the main event.
Yeah, and all the yelling that Bobby Heenan was doing about how we can't get anybody out there. Yeah,
it's still weird. It's always weird for me to see Hawk in a singles match. Just doesn't seem.
It really
like,
is. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Animal wasn't back yet, so
no. So we got Road Warrior Hawk versus Kurosawa. It's pretty much as a grudge match. And that's pretty much how they treated this. I thought this could have been a street fight considering the rivalry between these two at this point. And it was funny. Kurosawa dropped Hawk in a crucifix at crucifix slam. He went for the pin, puts his foot on the rope, and Rob Parker holds the foot down, and that's how we win this match. So the ending was kind of cheesy, but I thought the fight itself was pretty good between the two, and this feud is not going to be over yet, not by a long shot. So, but Kurosawa, I don't even think lasted that long. I think he was there maybe 6 months, and then they were like, "All right, you got to go."
see.
So, which is a shame because I mean the guy was pretty good. He just wasn't given enough time to show what he can do. Dude. The next thing, Mean Gene Oakland interviewed Randy Savage, talking about how Luger has to beat Ming for him to face him later. Savage is going all nuts, telling Mean Gene his mustache is crooked. He's like his beard is crooked. The both of them agree.
Mention Hogan too. There's this is a tease for what happens later on with World War III and everything because he mentioned about Hogan. He said, Hogan, you're my friend and everything, but if I gotta meet you in the ring, I could beat you. If I have to meet you in the ring, I will beat you. So
WrestleMania 5 reunited.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and World War III was funny at the end because the two of them get because it's Hogan being Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if I can't win, I'm going to cry about it. So that's just typical Hogan. But in any event, our next match on the card was JL versus Sabu with the Sheik in his corner. And this was another very short match, but Sabu made good on the time that he was given because he had the crowd in shock and awe. showing off. He was pretty much now the new Cactus Jack at this point. You know, doing all the hardcore stuff and the crazy stuff. Unfortunately, he didn't last too long in WCW. Yeah. His calling was in ECW. Thank God. What's funny is Sabu did a moonsault off the top rope, or going to the outside. It hits not only JL but takes the Sheik out as well. Sheik probably doesn't really care. Sabu with a nice springboard flip off the rope that he does, got the pin on JL and got the victory. And of course, afterwards, the Sheik gave him the patented fireball. So Sheik is up to his old FMW tricks, but Sabu gets the victory over JL. So congratulations to him on that one. Not going to be too many more for him. So the next segment we could have done without as well. It was the Taskmaster and the Master segment. Talking about the insurance policy, which is the Yeti. And oh my God. It's just my son. Oh, shut up. By this point, it was really getting cheesy to me, in my opinion.
It was getting worse.
It was. And it should have ended a lot sooner than it did. And even through the NWO, they're still trying to push the Dungeon of Doom. And I'm like, bro, you guys are like beating a dead horse here. It's over. Whatever. They thought they still had something. By the time you brought out the Yeti, that this is it. It's good.
Yeah, it was like the nail in the coffin, man.
Progress peaked with the Giant. You should have just left it at that. So, and then after that, Mean Gene interviewed Hulk Hogan, who presented the Harley Davidson winner. This is stuff that they're just dragging out the night.
Yeah, Dark Side Hogan.
But
he was still acting. He was still acting like Hulk Hogan, though.
I like Dark Side Hogan. He looked weird without the mustache, but I kind of digged it.
You notice he had the lightning on the side of his pants, like Hollywood.
A little bit, yeah.
And then of course the precursor to Hollywood.
Yep. And then of course you got Jimmy Hart dressed in all black as well. You know, coincide. Who would have thought his was for a different reason?
Macho Man had mentioned it before that he's like he didn't trust Jimmy Hart, and he didn't trust Luger, and he was right. Should listen to Macho.
And look what happened in this night. So next match on the card was Lex Luger versus Ming. This is a return match from Monday Nitro that didn't go well for Lex Luger. Sullivan had accompanied him to the ring. Now this is where, if you watch this for the first time, even then you kind of know, all right, that's it, something's up, because Ming hits him with a spike. Goes to pin him, and Sullivan comes in the ring and taps Luger with his boot, which gets Ming disqualified.
Then Ming
Ming is getting all pissed off, and he's trying to tell him, no, listen, we've got Luger versus Savage now. And Ming doesn't care, because this does nothing for him. He just got the loss. So this is, once you see this, you kind of know, okay, that's it. Something, this is coming to a head tonight, because they've dragged this on and made you wonder for the past few weeks on Nitro. So here we go. So of course now the next thing, Mean Gene interviewed the Giant about not only the monster truck battle, but of course the world title match itself. Again, dragging it on way too long. So our next match was one I was looking forward to, because we've seen this 1,000 times before. It was the United States Champion Sting and the Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Arn Anderson and Flying Brian Pillman. Naturally, Sting comes out on his own because Flair has been attacked. And what makes it even more interesting is, Sting held his own during this match. Yeah. The first, I'd say 8 minutes, he was beating them down. And then all of a sudden, here comes Ric Flair, half dressed, not even in his wrestling gear, trying to get in the ring, going after Arn.
People are cheering. The crowd was going crazy for Flair. He's strutting on the apron.
Everyone's nobody figured it out. I mean, once Sting went for the tag, and you see Flair all of a sudden get off the apron and chase Brian Pillman around the ring, and he's not even hitting either one of them, then you start to wonder. And then, he's going to try to hit them with the shoe. But this is where, this reminded me of Arn Anderson and Dustin Rhodes. I'll be your partner. And then he gets all excited. Arn Anderson gets in the ring, gets all excited with Dustin, and then DDTs him. What happens here? Same thing.
Yeah, the Flair attacks thing. It doesn't make sense.
After dancing and strutting all around, and
Yeah,
then
this didn't even make any sense to me because he was he was in that feud with Arn Anderson. Flair was
and Sting had nothing to do with it.
For those that don't know, he had been in this is going on a little while now. He had been in a feud. It was Flair
Since
and Arn
back
Anderson.
at Bash, I believe it started.
Yeah, it just started. So then all of a sudden, for him to just turn on Sting didn't make any sense. I know it's wrestling, and it's like, oh, a swerve, but it's like Sting had nothing to do with any of this. Why would he turn on Sting?
Sting should have learned by now.
Not to trust him. He doesn't learn his.
Sting never trust him either.
Oh, he didn't. You're right. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't trust him. But...
Leading up to this, several Nitros, he didn't trust Ric Flair, and he should have went with his gut on this one. And then, so then it ends in a disqualification. Ric Flair, Sting get the victory, but Sting gets a 3-on-1 beatdown.
That's it. He gets a beat,
and the Four Horsemen are reborn.
Right. Yeah, they're doing the promo. Talking.
And Arn Anderson said, "Y'all asked for it.
Yeah, be careful.
Now deal with it." And I was actually I liked it.
I liked Pillman and the Horsemen. I liked Pillman.
Yeah. Pillman and Arn Anderson were working together was pretty cool. Well, we've done the Nitro reviews, going with this. But the swerve with all of a sudden Ric Flair, going back with him. I'm like, I'm trying to think. Did the writers think that this is going to go nowhere? Let's just pretend it never happened and put you guys back together.
I guess, yeah. I guess. Just don't know.
And oh, by the way, Sting, you're going to be the one that becomes a victim of it all. I'm sorry, brother. Poor Sting. Never trust the Nature Boy. But in any event, again, Sting gets a victory despite a beatdown, and like I said, Flair gets the victory too, and he didn't. All he did was attack his partner. So following that, Mean Gene, like we said, he interviewed all of them. And then, of course, Mike Tenay interviewed Lex Luger about his upcoming match with Randy Savage. And then following that, they showed a video package of what led up to the whole Hogan Giant. I mean, we've seen this 1,000 times over. Throws the Andre the Giant shirt at him. He showed up. He's wrenched his neck several times. He showed up at War Games.
Hogan going to the going to wherever the hell they were, and then wherever
the dungeon, and then the Giant shows up there. Yeah. Oh my God! Why are we doing this? Because our sumo monster truck match is next, and Bischoff joined the commentaries for this one as well.
Yeah, well, this was Bischoff's idea. If you don't know, like the cross promotion with monster trucks, he thought was. At the time, monster trucks were kind of hot, like touring the country in the arenas, Bigfoot and stuff like that. So it was his idea. I mean, I understood why he did it. Like, if you would think that it would work out, but it didn't. I also didn't understand, like, what's the point of the match? Like, it's not like if the Giant would have beat him, it's not like the Giant. You still have to fight at the end of the night. Like,
exactly.
That match has no relevance. It's not like the Giant gets the title now. It's not like the Giant gets 2 cracks at it, right? Like, let's say if he would have won the monster truck match, he's now the champion, and there is no match. It didn't mean anything.
You know what I would have done with this? I would have put a little special thing at it to make it more interesting. The winner picks the stipulation for the match,
or something. I don't know.
Make it more interesting, because even if Hogan loses it, like you said, he hasn't lost the title,
right?
And he's still going to go out there later on and whoop his ass.
And it was terrible, just them driving back and forth on the roof, and then.
Yeah, they're attached together, and they have the object is they have to have all the axles past the cones. So after 5 minutes, it finally happens. Hogan wins that, and then Giant gets out of
He's all angry.
The monster truck. They make their way to the ledge. Mm-hmm. He's choking out Hogan, and Hogan breaks the choke.
Yeah,
and supposedly falls off the building.
Kills him. No, brother. I saw this live.
I did too.
I went to my friend Peter's house. I was invested in this feud.
I was.
And so I went to my friend Peter's house. He had the hot box at the time, and we watched it. And I remember us watching this, and we were like, "What is this?"
And then we spent like 30 of the next 45 minutes of Bobby Heenan yelling at Schiavone, yelling at Bischoff. He's leaving, trying to find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, Hogan killed him.
And I love when he said, "I had a relationship with his father. damn it.
Well,
You
yeah.
need to tell me what's going on here.
That's the other thing is they kept pushing the that he's the son of Andre the Giant. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, this is 1995. We have phones. We have satellite phones. We have walkie-talkies, and we can't find out what's going on 50 feet outside the building.
We'll find out
And then they're like, oh, by the way, we got to go to the ring.
Yeah.
So you knew he wasn't dead.
Well, yeah. I mean, we knew. No, but I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, I didn't think they were gonna fight that night.
They really didn't even tell you what happened when he fell off.
No, well, he said he was resurrected, right? We'll get to the match a little bit. We'll get to the match.
Yeah, because right now we have to get to Randy Savage versus Lex Luger, the culmination of this whole feud. And I was glad, we've already seen them wrestle on Nitro. The whole, if Luger loses, he has to leave WCW.
Dungeon interfered, so Luger went over.
Yep. And so every time the Dungeon is involved, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little peculiar because they're not real. They're attacking them, but they're not. Okay, so here we go. Now all of a sudden, Jimmy Hart comes down, which he's the odd man out in this. It's like, why are you down here? You don't manage Savage. You don't manage Luger. So Jimmy Hart distracts the referee as Luger is trying to get the pin, and then Savage throws Luger into Jimmy Hart, and then gets the elbow drop, and Randy Savage gets the victory.
Macho Man wins,
So Macho Man wins, but we're still not quite clear on what's going on here.
Right, and there's not a definitive
40 minutes, we're going to find out.
Yeah, and there's not a definitive.
No, not really.
Two of them. There's always some sort of.
This is the second time. Only this time, Randy Savage got that victory. Which is what I would have done is had a third and final deciding match between these two in a cage.
A rubber match, yeah. But...
Yeah, and see once and for all which one's the bigger boy. I mean, but, it's Nitro. They're going to do what they want. So Randy Savage gets the victory. He's fought twice tonight. He's gotten both victories. So now we're on to our main event, which nobody even knows about because Tony Schiavone's telling Heenan, we got to go to Michael Buffer, and Heenan's like, the hell with Michael Buffer. We need to find out what's wrong.
Well, there was time. There was time left on the pay-per-view, so you're like, okay, something's going to happen. Because
they're dragging it out. So for the WCW Championship, Hulk Hogan is supposedly defending the title against the Giant. Now, we hear the Giant's music. Hogan comes out. He's not technically dressed because he doesn't think there's going to be a match. He's still in the all black. He gets in the ring, and then all of a sudden, the Giant's coming down to the ring with the Taskmaster, and you see the look in the Giant's eye. You see the
Hogan's like shocked, like he thought he was dead, like because he was going to announce basically like, okay, we're not going to have a match. He's dead.
I killed the Giant. I killed the Giant. Good night, everybody.
But he comes out, and then they're saying, oh, he's resurrected. Hogan's scared. Hogan runs out of the ring.
Hogan was getting his ass kicked in this match.
Yeah, well, I mean, by design. I thought because he came in at first with Sullivan. The Giant comes in with Sullivan, and then him and Hogan go at it, and Hogan tried to slam him, couldn't.
And then, of course, they're mentioning the whole WrestleMania 3 against Hogan persevered over Andre the Giant.
This is the Giant's first official match. He did a good job considering this guy has no experience whatsoever.
Yes, he did, and he's in the main event.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's amazing.
Hogan went on a lot of faith with the Giant in this match. I mean that. And like you said, he did pretty good considering. Yeah. He's very talented. I mean, for his size and whatnot, in WCW, he was very talented. I think he lost a little bit in the WWE, mainly because he had put weight on.
Put the weight on. He wasn't.
But once he got it off, he was still good.
Yeah.
Not as athletic, though. So, Giant, he goes for the typical, he choke slams Hogan. Hogan kicks out and Hulk's up now. Now the Giant's got a different disposition on his face. Hogan's going for the whole spiel. I hit you with the boot. You're going to be dazed for a few minutes while I pander to the crowd. Do you want me to slam him? Does slam him. Goes to hit the leg drop. And when he wanted the pin, the referee went down. Camera didn't quite catch. The camera caught a little bit of it. They didn't really want you to know that it was Jimmy Hart that hit the referee with the belt. And even live, when I watched this for the first time, I'm like, okay, Jimmy's kind of holding on to that belt, very tight. Why is he still holding on to it? Something's going to happen tonight. I'm It's a guarantee. And sure enough, Hogan wasn't sure what happened, so he's talking to Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy gets the referee up, throws him down again, tries to hit Hogan with the title. That's not going to work for him. Points to him, this whole thing.
Turned on him. Damn it.
Yep. And so here comes Sullivan now gets involved. Now Luger and Savage come down together.
Right, to help Hogan.
And you think that, okay, animosity put aside.
Right.
Nope. Lex Luger has finally proved that he has gone to the Dungeon of Doom.
Damn it.
I don't know what's worse, this kind of turn or when everybody was trading over to the NWO. Oh. Maybe this hurt a little bit because, maybe the fans didn't expect it or something. I saw this coming. I mean, but right after the Luger Savage match on Nitro, I kind of saw it coming. And so he puts Hogan in the torture rack. He puts Savage in the torture rack. Now, the whole time I'm thinking, where's Sting? Oh, never mind. He got his ass kicked early in the night. He's not involved in this anymore. And so now Hogan, Giant wins by disqualification. Doesn't win, according to them, doesn't win the title. Now, according to Jimmy Hart, going forward in the next few weeks, there was a special loophole put into the contract that the title could change hands on a disqualification. However, the Giant was then stripped of the title because the disqualification was caused by Jimmy Hart.
Right, yeah.
So that's where the title
eventually becomes vacant,
and goes to World War III, which I thought was pretty good. The 60-man battle royal for the title.
That was cool. They basically did Royal Rumble '92, basically, with 360 people. But they had because the Giant leaves with the belt. That's what happens. He actually takes the belt with him. But for the big surprise of the night,
the Yeti came out during this match.
The Yeti.
Okay, that double bear hug kind of had me nervous. I mean, he looked like he was trying to hump him.
Yeah, it looked.
I mean, it was.
But not only that, the Yeti is an abominable snowman. So why is he look? Why does he look like a mummy wrapped in toilet paper? I mean,
and he's walking like a mummy.
He's walking like a mummy. I don't understand that. The other thing is, that the Yeti was actually supposed to be Elegante, aka Giant Gonzalez, but he wasn't good health wise, so they had to change it.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I know he passed away, not too long after this, but it would have been better if it was him, because at least he could wrestle. The Yeti wound up being Ron Reese,
right?
Which once this didn't work out for him, he eventually became Reese from the Raven's Flock.
No, before that, he becomes a samurai. Remember, the Yeti becomes a samurai.
Yeah, it's a multiple thing.
Which I don't. They still call him the Yeti, but he was dressed as a samurai. Supposedly, according to Ron Reese, which actually makes sense. He said he was. Oh, I'm sorry, a ninja, not samurai. Ninja. He was supposed to always be the ninja, but then when Elegante got sick, then they shifted him over to the Yeti, and then they just kept the name. And because remember, in World War III, I mean, I haven't seen this in years. They said it was supposed to be 3 giants. There was supposed to be 1 giant in each ring.
Each ring, yeah.
The original idea was the Giant, the Yeti, and then the Ninja, which was Ron Reese. Yeah, so I don't remember who ends up taking the place of the 3rd Giant. Who's the 3rd Giant? Do you remember? I don't remember.
Loch Ness, maybe?
No, Loch Ness was long gone by then.
Oh, thank God.
By the way.
Well, for everybody that watches this, World War III will be our Thanksgiving holiday special for you guys. So we will be doing that World War III '95 this year. So you guys can tune into the review of that as we cover it. But yeah, I remember when they said the 3 giants, but
yeah, 1 giant. This was a disaster. This was just a disaster.
Once, like I said in the beginning, once the Yeti came into this, the Dungeon of Doom shit the bed. They should progress peaked with the Giant. You should have left it alone.
Right.
They were even having problems. They mentioned that the Shark had walked away.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, at this point, it's like you got ridiculous names, ridiculous characters for something that's supposed to be scary.
You didn't need the Giant was
dominant.
The Giant was enough. You didn't, and we forgot to mention the Yeti had actually shown up on Nitro. He jumped. Remember the Master comes out and there's that big block
of
ice,
out of the ice,
and then it goes off the air.
They didn't need another.
No. It wasn't necessary. It's just overkill. I thought they had a. Besides the corniness, I thought they actually had a good story because the Giant was believable to me.
Yes, he was.
He was believable,
But I mean, you could have left it at Giant, Taskmaster, Zodiac, and Ming, and you would have been fine. If you want to add somebody else, just make it believable. But this Yeti nonsense.
This is the worst. This is the worst. Yeah, this is the low. This is the low point. This is the low point. Yeah. So, well, overall, I was entertained. I know there was a little bit too much backstage stuff, but I thought that I actually enjoyed the pay-per-view. I
did too.
I didn't think it was bad.
There were good. There were good storylines. There were good matches.
Yeah.
Just too short because again the backstage stuff. But overall, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I had a good time. All right, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.